Hello guys, Smithy here. Today we are going to review the top ranking list for today's date, up to date, 25th of October. As you all know, a few classes received again more passive, more buffs, and from them all it was Sura, it was Archmage, Paladin, Fletcher and Gladiator. All those 5 classes received different changes in past 2 weeks. I didn't update my top ranking list last week, but I will do it today for those 5 classes. Also, before we start, I would like to tell you guys that all you know, we have currently ongoing Karkia event, and some classes might not might not fall in the current ranking for the Karkia, because Karkia is slightly different from normal arena, because basically normal arena or ranked arena differs of the Karkia due to HP difference. As you all know, or maybe not know, Karkia has only 13,000 HP, which is super low, and allows some classes that has very low combo damage, for example Archmage, or for example Void Knight that has only 14% damage. She is able to sometimes one-shot other players because the damage is already enough, because as you know, HP is very low in Karkia. What does that mean is that classes that have higher damage output in one combo will suffer. For example, Sura with his 25, almost 25,000% damage of his combo, and I'm saying about the full combo, it's a stun, daze, knockback, execution, grab, again execution. He can deal up to 25,000% damage, which is not really used in Karkia because it's like one combo and you're dead. And most classes can do the same, like as I say, Destroyer with his 16,000% damage, Lan actually not, but Kunoichi, Void Knight, like most of classes can still one shot in one combo, which comes, Karkia comes into that scenario of who gets the first stun will win. So Karkia is slightly different from ranked and normal arena. That's why some rankings might differ from what is Karkia about. But without further ado, let's begin. So anyway, even though it's not included the Karkia itself, we have Destroyer in first place. You know why. You most likely faced many Destroyers in Karkia, and they would just totally destroy you, because they can just spam their immunities, they can destroy you very fast with their skills, with their long range skills, and that can do lots of damage. So Destroyer first place, maintaining the first place. Sura falls down on second place because of his update of his skills. As you all know, he received a passive that didn't really affect well his performance, because it basically just increased the damage. So the damage was increased of the combo, but all in all it didn't affect much his performance, because he doesn't have any immunities on that passive, he doesn't have any PvP stats on that passive, he has nothing like that. So it's basically only the damage. Yet all this made his damage increased up to 25,000% damage, and gives him second place in this list. Void Knight, because of her overpowered passive, and I'm saying it's overpowered because in Karkia it's really overpowered. It gives her 50% damage reduction after taking one hit, and also that healing from a skill that heals up to 1,500 HP per hit. Per skill that has only 5 seconds cooldown is just so OP. And you know that if you faced Void Knights in Karkia, they're just so annoying, because they, even if you manage to hit them, they will be able to out heal that damage all again. For example, in 1 minute of arena, Void Knight can out heal back roughly 10,000 HP, which is insane, and that's her passive which is giving. But let's talk about the changes that occurred from the last let's say reworks. Archmage going up to 14th place. Her passive is pretty cool, gives her damage, gives her PvP damage reduction, and as well that slightly bit of randomness with the skills that randomly cast onto first enemy that you see. And if you played against Archmage or you played as Archmage, you know how good is that passive, because sometimes you can fall, but still a skill like randomly can just hit your enemy and knock him down while he is performing a combo into you. And if you checked my stream on Archmage, you remember how I was clutching players with that passive, which is pretty cool. So 14th place for Archmage, not big but not low as well. Paladin 16th place, gaining a big boost for damage. Now her combo can deal up to 21,800% damage, which is super high. It's a very high number. It's second place after Sura. But that's basically it. Her passive is kinda cool, but kinda not the best. It's only 20% healing when you are below 20%. It's not that cool for arena. Still, I thought that it would be good to give her 1 point there in unique. Fletcher receiving the worst passive that I've ever seen, to be honest, because really that passive is not good. It gives him like auto attack damage on all his skills, and that's all. And his extra damage from the mana, the jackpot damage is already considered in his damage. And even with the damage increase, he has only 11,000 damage in his combo, in his full combo that he can perform in arena. Yet you know that he can deal lots of damage, but that's because of his skills are giving him always buffs that decrease debuffs of defense that decrease your defense, and buffs for his attack that increases his attack. So every time he starts a combo, he starts it with full buffed, let's say, stats. So that's why he sometimes might deal lots of damage. But all in all, it's only 11k and worst passive ever. So only 18th place. And Gladiator, the last receiving a very good passive, let's say. It gives him 20% damage reduction, great shield mechanic that you can reset, and you can reset cooldown of it, but still it's quite not enough for him to be higher than 20th place. Still, it's better than it was before. Okay, moving on to mass PvP ranking. We have some changes here. Archmage now with her passive, moving on to 6th place. Yes, it's 6th place because her passive is kinda cool. It's a hybrid class that has PvP damage reduction, has damage amplification, and damage is like 10% extra damage, not 10% PvP damage. It's like 10% for everything, which is pretty cool. Her random passive that you can spam always, like you will be spamming always the skills, immunity skills, and you will be doing more and more damage. That damage is also considered, even though it's not quite enough. Like it's only 12.8k DPS of the DPS that Archmage can deal. Still is pretty cool. It remains still that Archmage that can escape skills, that has that post animation, that has frigid fog. Kind of cool class. I would say its 6th place is more than fair for that passive, because it's a sort of ranged hybrid class with that passive that it's always activated, extra damage and damage reduction. Sura only 11th place in mass PvP, even though he has big damage and his passive giving him slightly more usability. It's still not enough. He's still that melee class. And another thing that you might know if you play Sura, all his skills like Shadow Break, Twin Dragon, Blade Storm, After Image, all his damage skills are kinda slow motioned in mass PvP. Like every time you hit a skill, you are having that slow motion effect. And while you are having that slow motion effect, your skills are much slower than players that aren't affected by slow motion. So if a ranged class is farther away from Sura, he can still hit him. And while he's casting one of these skills, a ranged class can hit 2 skills into him. While on world bosses, for example, that slow motion isn't affected, and you can really see the difference of attack speed, which kind of affects him in mass PvP. I tried to go Battlefield of the Sun on Sura, and I was kind of disappointed. Yes, his damage is pretty cool, is nice, but the time you jump into mass of players, you can deal just one skill, and while you are just casting one skill, you will take lots of damage, which is not that cool for Sura. So only 11th place. Then Fletcher, for his very bad passive and kind of low damage, low survivability, low mobility, like most of classes can catch him in mass PvP, because mass PvP is not only Battlefield of the Sun. Battlefield of the Sun, yes, Fletcher can deal lots of damage, is nice because it's a range class. Like, range is very important for Battlefield of the Sun, but which isn't that good for example, for Black Sun or Guild Wars, when you have to run or do stuff. Like, mobility is affected by Fletcher. If you have to stand in one place, yes, he's good. Other than that, no. And his passive is super bad, so not really even considering, because his passive goes to the damage. Gladiator, rank 28 only. Again, his passive is cool, gives him 2 more points for unique, but that's all. All the rest is very bad on Gladiator. It remained that class that grabs players and puts them in control, but as you all know, forward guard in mass PvP isn't that good. Like, most of times you will get CC'd in forward guard. And Paladin, spot 30, her passive is also not good. She doesn't have any like PvP damage reduction, any PvP damage amplification. Her passive isn't that cool, only gains 1 point, and the rest is just the same. But what Paladin has is DPS, which is not like it's a first place in DPS, but her DPS consists mostly of rushing into players and trying to do damage. And if you are not doing like, if you die too fast, you won't be able to do damage, because she doesn't have invisibility frames. Yes, she has there some invisibility frames on some skills, but only when they are amplified, and that's it. So let's continue. That's the mass PvP ranking. Didn't really affect those melee classes because, well, it's because like that. Okay, farm speed actually was changed a little bit. Archmage still remained a 340, didn't change there. She already had big scores there. Sura, Paladin actually grew a little bit in ranking. Now they have 305 kills per minute in Hadum. Fletcher remained still on 300 kills per minute, didn't change there at all. And Gladiator gained slightly bit of buff, 286. I think some skills were kind of boosted in speed. And that's basically it. First place Archer, as always, Shy, Destroyer, Corsair, and Archmage for top 5. And moving on to damage rankings. For Stunlock combo, Sura still remains the first with 24.7k damage. Which is super high. It always was like that. He has a biggest damage in one combination, and nobody will take it from him. Paladin moving to second place with her amazing buff of that that rush skill, when she goes under the enemy and then jumps with her hammer, which deals lots and lots of damage. She's like 7000% damage in 2 hits, which is insane amounts of damage. 21k there. Gladiator 16k still remains the same. Archmage only gained 2000 extra % damage, which brings her to 13.6k damage in one combo, which is the most that she can deal. And at last, Fletcher only a 11k, so spot 28 in combo damage. And that's basically it for damages, else remain the same. And for DPS, Paladin actually gains first place with her that buff of the skill, which deals insane amount of damage, and plus the passive that you must proc. But the problem of that DPS is that it's everything melee. Like, everything is melee. In order to do the DPS, you must stand in melee. If you are farther, you won't do that damage, and if there are many enemies, you will die before executing all that combo. While, for example, Berserker can deal all the damage from afar, which makes him much better pick for DPS. And Sura just the same, it's mostly melee. Even though his after image skill has that long animation, let me show you. So as you can see, he can hit farther away, makes him a little bit better for DPS because the range is better. Still, it's only one skill, and then you have to do something else to do damage. You have to like put some waves in it or something like that. But really, that slow-mo for Sura really breaks everything for him in that list. And to finish it all, let's check it out for the final overall class ranking list. Note that this ranking is for overall stuff. It's like for PvP, for mass PvP and PvE ranking. So everything is chained together. So some classes might be higher than others because in PvE they might be better, in PvP might be worse, and so on. So Berserker still remaining that first solid pick, 93.58 points. Great pick for mass PvP, best for mass PvP, great scores for Hadum. And even though he's slightly bad for PvP, you all know that he isn't as good as he was. He needs some skills. He still remains that great class with his amazing passive. Like his passive still remains among the best passive in the game with the Titan as well. So Titan second place with his a great passive that every class would like to have, but nobody has it. Only those two guys have. Third place goes to Destroyer, and I played him in Battlefield of the Sun with level 3 skills, but I went like on another account, let's say. And actually I was surprised how well he does in DPS. He can stay there, do damages, he has ranged combos, he can survive, he can do stuff actually, and his mobility is kinda good. I was able to reach first in the first place the bosses, so all in all balanced, and his farming in PvE is also cool. 341 kills per minute. That's very cool. His skills allows him to do all that stuff. So I might even go for Destroyer, really. And you know how badass is Destroyer, or cheat Destroyer is in Arena. Then comes for Phantasma, fourth place, all that balanced class that is not really popular anymore for some reason, but she still remains a great class, great PvE score, good in mass PvP, a good ranged class that has damage reduction and all that stuff. And at last, Archmage gaining 5th place because of great mass PvP score. Her passive actually allows her to combine like survivability and usability as well. She can trigger many passives of her skills as well, because her skill can stun, can freeze, can disable other players. Like that passive that can do double cast of the skill is very useful and good for damage, and as well her passive with the damage amplification and damage reduction is pretty cool. So solid pick Archmage, not gonna lie. If you pick her, if you like Archmage, then go for it. She's 5th place in meta. And then comes down to Lancer. Lan 7th place because of her great survivability, which I don't really like, because I'm mostly for Battlefield of the Sun. I like that PvP mode, like when you have to like smash a lot of players, and there I need a lot of damage. But in overall in field she can survive for well. In 1 versus 1 scenario she can deal damage, she can deal combo. I was able to kill players with higher CP than me on LAN, and her passive with 20% damage reduction, and as well attack speed, attack damage and range increase makes her a good pick. 8th Sura, 9th Invoker, and 10th Striker, and so on. You can check all the list. That's the list for the updated one. Now, you might ask, will you still stay Sura? I don't know. Yesterday I wanted to change to Destroyer. I wanna see him with 10 level skills in mass PvP and so on. But as you all know, tomorrow we will receive a Sage update on Korea. So tomorrow I will review, I will check out Sage. I will check out his damage numbers, his PvE scores, he's will think about the arena and mass PvP ranking, how can he be good or not. And tomorrow I will most likely decide whether I change to Destroyer or maybe to Mystic or maybe to Sage as soon as he will be released here on Global. So that was it, guys. I will show you once again their rankings so you will remember. I will leave down in the comments the link to the ranking list, Excel ranking list. Most of you would like to check it out. I will share the link with you guys. Don't worry, just check out down in the description below. Okay, now we have 5 to 10 minutes for questions. If you have any questions, I will answer them, and then we are going to end that stream right here. So let's check it out. You sure about Fletcher? Yes, I'm sure about the Fletcher. Berserker, is it lag or is slow motion? Is entirely different. Well, on Sura it's like a mechanic of the game itself. Like it gets that slow motion whenever he starts to PvP, and the more players are hit by that skill, the bigger the slow motion. It's just the mechanic that I talked already with developers, not developers, with a game master. I suggested to disable or at least turn a little bit down that slow motion effect, because it affects quite a bit some melee classes. Okay. I can explain how you count all of these damage percent numbers you made, why it's so uneven. I'm looking at the damage percentage of the skills. I'm calculating like the combo damage, let's say. For example, let me show the Excel file. So let me show you here. For example, we have here combo damage, and Berserker, as you can see, he has different numbers. Okay, these are, wait, why are, okay, Berserker was copied. For example, Titan, as you can see, every skill has damage numbers. Yeah, 435 by 5 multiplied by 12. 12 is how many hits it does, and I'm just calculating how many skills enter in one combo and just fuse them all in. That's actually kind of wrong. It's not the right combo, because the numbers got mixed, but whatever. So as you can see, I just put them in here and then it calculates, and we have here branch damages and no branch damages, and the ones who have branch damages I multiply them, and the one that doesn't I don't multiply, and all the sum will just be the final damage number, final combo damage, and same with DPS will be just the same. Also, that was Titan. Yeah, okay, so that's the combo damage. So as you can see, he has 180 multiplied by 4, that's the grab, then 211 multiplied by 4, that's the initiator, then it has 433, that's the thunder, no, how it's called, that's the spin skill, and so on. So I just check how many skills a combo has, what is the damage of those skills, and the damage that he can do, and so in the final it will give me that number. So that's why they are so different. Archmage good for world boss? I wouldn't say Archmage was never good for world boss. How about Corsair? Corsair has low damage in my opinion. But anyway, guys, I don't want to extend this video for more. Tomorrow we will have a stream to check the Sage. I will try to review him better tomorrow, check his numbers, check his combo damages. So tomorrow you will have more time for questions. But for now, thank you so much for watching. See ya tomorrow. Bye bye.